Hey fellow vets and vet nurses, I am the Bearded Vet and I am here to begin to deliver a series of instructional videos, short videos to help you with some of the basic tools and techniques, what we need to use pretty much every day in veterinary practice. Now this is good if you are a vet student or a vet nurse and you're coming up to your practical exams, that sort of thing. This is going to be good for you. Or even if you are an experienced vet or vet nurse and you just want a bit of a refresher on something, you may also find this useful. So over the next few weeks, we'll just be putting out the odd video. I will welcome your comments and your feedback, and also if you have any ideas for future videos, please drop me a line. Hope you enjoy. Okay guys, the first video that I want to do, first tutorial, is how to correctly apply a tail bandage to, say, a wound on the tail of a dog or after surgery. So let's start and have a look at some of the things that we will commonly need. I'm going to go straight over here to the left, and as with most things we do, safety first guys. So we've got some safety goggles and some rubber gloves. Always play it safe. So let's just put them to one side and then we can have a look at some of the more practical tools. We're going to need a primary layer, and in this case we're going to use a little melamine pad. There's all sorts that you can use. The vets will probably guide you on what you want to use. Some people will also use extra dressings like ointments and honey and things like that. But basically you need a primary layer of some description. And that's going to go straight on the wound. So we've got some melamine here. And then we're going to have a wrap or two with a secondary layer, and this is some special linear padding. And linear padding is, as its name suggests, it's a kind of padding, and you can be generous with that, and that provides some protection and some comfort. And then we'll need yet another layer after that, and typically we use some kind of meshed interwoven gauze like this, and this one is actually a little bit stretchy as well. And the final layer will be some various ends of a kind of co-forming bandage, and we'll see how that works in a minute. All the way through we're going to need a lot of tape. Problem with tails is that they wag and dressings will fall off if you don't put enough tape on. And finally we may want some kind of either waterproof layer over the tail, probably not all the time because we want to get some air to it, but when the dog's out for a walk we may need to protect it from the elements, so this is where we can use our good old drip bags with a bit of bandage to tie it on. Or in this case, I always find some kind of milk bottle, milk carton pretty useful as well. So that's basically it. And what we're going to do, we're going to use our model and see how we can cobble a tail bandage together. The first step is to make sure the patient is properly restrained. Now, for illustration purposes, clearly we're using a dummy dog here, so this is going to be a lot easier than it probably is in real life. So don't overlook the necessity for restraint, and let's see how we can do this. Okay, so remember safety, gloves, goggles. There's nothing worse than getting a tail in the eye. It's a very common and dangerous injury in veterinary professions. So restraint. I like to use tape, and basically 2 or 3 good healthy strips like this are fine for securing the pet. Sometimes you may need one over the head as well, and if there's someone helping you, then they can put a hand over there. This now very nicely gives us a pretty docile patient so that we can take the tail and we can start working with the wound without causing too much distress to the dog here. Right, so first things first, let's get our primary layer on and try and keep things nice and tidy here. Let's imagine that the wound is, say, pretty much right on the tip here. Maybe you've done a tail amputation, or maybe it's a classic tail tip injury. So first things first, keep this side clean, because that's the side that's going to contact the wound needs to be sterile. Take off a couple of strips of tape just to make life easier. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. I've just taken some strips off here. So first one, just fairly roughly isolate the primary layer on the wound like this. Just make sure that's good for the camera. Yeah. Okay. So then we need to put on our linear soft bandage, and you need to apply it in fairly generous quantities right over the wound, and of course a fair way up the tail in order for it to get that friction and stay on. So, filming. Oh, hang on. Okay, that should be plenty. Good, so I'm pretty pleased with that, but now we need to make sure we've got the linear bandage pretty much tethered down with tape. So take some tape, and this is when you need to start on the actual bandage and then go forward and trap as much hair as you possibly can. And what I like to do is go pretty much all the way up to the anus and back down again. Good, so I think that's that bit done. Yep, all right. Next we have our interwoven mesh layer. So we'll just start here, and this is to help cinch down the linear bandage. So just try to do this as best you can. Okay, good. Good, I'm pleased with that. That's got a nice ring to it. So once again, never use enough tape. So let's just put a couple of wraps of tape all the way up to the base. Yeah. And well, we're almost on the home straight. So let's take our final layer, and you know, really all this is to make it look nice, because you know, to an owner that probably is not very appealing, if a little distressing. So we use this co-forming layer to make it look nice. As you can see, this is a sparkly one. It comes in all shapes and forms. You've probably seen ones with plenty of comedy patterns on, paw prints and whatnot, cows, tractors. Good, that's probably going to do it. Remember, keep keep everything tidy. Let's not forget more tape. Always apply a lot of tape. Okay, so that is not looking too bad at all. Let's check we've got that on the camera. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. So you can stop at this point. But I like to advise that we try to keep this as clean as we possibly can. And in order to do that, we need some kind of extra protection. So we can take a drip bag, which we've just made some holes in, and threaded some bandage through. So we can just slip this on like that. And when the dog needs to go out, do his business, just pop that on, and that's going to keep it perfectly dry. Also works for snowy conditions as well. Be careful in floods because everything seems to pretty much get wet then, so I'd recommend it only in light to moderate rain. And if you can't get hold of these, or if the owner can't get hold of those, then you can use one of these. And simply just take the top off, so you're left with that, you don't need that. And with a combination of some tape, a little bit of fiddliness, I'm afraid, you may need someone to help you here. And we can just start to wrap that onto the tail. Again, you don't need to keep this on all the time unless it's one of those pesky tail tip injuries and every time the dog wags his tail he's going to whack it. So in those cases you can actually keep this on all the time, and that provides that physical protection. So I think that pretty much concludes the video on how to do a tail bandage. I hope you found it informative. If you have, please like, even better, please subscribe, and don't forget to send me any ideas for future videos. Thank you.